Marilyn Howard. There is a special called Board of Mayor and Alderman Board meeting tonight, Wednesday, May the 10th, 2023, at 5:30 p.m. for the following. A resolution authorizing contracting with the state of Tennessee for reimbursement of the cost of maintenance of state routes which pass over city streets for the fiscal year 23-24 in an amount not to exceed $92,665, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick, and two ordinances. The first being a first reading of an ordinance amending the budget ordinance for fiscal year 22-23, ordinance number 1654. This is the third amendment, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs. And B, a first reading of an ordinance of the City of Manchester adopting a budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs. Signed, Mayor Howard, Vice Mayor Messick, Alderman French, Alderman Anderson, Alderman Bellamy, Alderman Hobbs, and Alderman Parsley.
I call this meeting to order, and will you call the roll, please?
Alderman French.
Here.
Alderman Anderson. Here. Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Alderman Hobbs.
Here.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Here.
Alderman Parsley.
Here.
All are in attendance.
Resolution 8. A resolution authorizing contracting with the state of Tennessee for reimbursement of the cost of maintenance of state routes which pass over city streets for the fiscal year 2023-2024 in an amount not to exceed $92,665.24, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second, and the motion is as stated. Any comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance A, a first reading of an ordinance amending the budget ordinance for fiscal year 22-23, ordinance number 1654. This is the third amendment, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second for the ordinance amendment for the budget, which was fiscal year of 2022-2023. Do I have any discussion, any questions, any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Ordinance B, a first reading of an ordinance of the City of Manchester, Tennessee, adopting a budget for the fiscal year July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
So moved. Second.
It has been moved and seconded for the budget, adopting the budget that's in your packet. Do I hear any comments?
I have a question about the process, the amendment process. Can we amend this budget now and adopt it on the first reading, or changes that we may make to it? Does it have to go back? Like, how does that work?
The way I understand it, Alderman, is it can be amended tonight and passed, but once passed, any further amendment would have to go back to the start as a first reading. If that is
So if there are things that we want to see in here that didn't make it in here, we can still add them in this way. We were looking for us.
I think so.
Am I right? What's on the table? Do you approve what is presented? Yes or no? Is that what we just?
That's what I just announced.
Motion and second. And then comment from the vote.
It's like Judge Johnson to make a statement. I did seek our city attorney's advice on my potential indirect conflict and Parsons' potential indirect conflict on the fact that we can participate now. I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, so that question's been asked, and MTAS has answered it, and AG's opinions are not directly on point, but they do refer to the statute in regards to conflicts of interest. So there's two different kinds of conflicts of interest. One's where the elected official has a direct interest, and basically, to simplify it, you have to be the person that's making a contract or has a direct interest in the outcome of the deliberation vote. And then the rest of the conflicts are called indirect interest. And according to the statute, you can't vote or deliberate on direct interest contracts, and employment is considered a contract. But if it's an indirect interest, and from everything I've read, the employment by the city of a spouse or other close family members considered an indirect interest. An indirect interest, the elected official has two choices. They can abstain, or if they wish to participate, there's words in the statute that the elected official has to say, or something similar to that, just so that the public's on notice what the conflict is. It's really when you have an indirect interest conflict, it's up to the elected official to decide whether or not they want to participate or not, as long as the public's on notice.
It's on the floor. It's been moved and seconded. Do we approve what's on the budget right now?
Is,
If Alderman Anderson wants to make an amendment, she can do that at this time. Is that not right?
I'd like to state for the record what my concerns are with this particular line item of those who aren't in the budget meeting. This is something that I feel like the public has a very strong opinion on. This is an operation that's been going on for 20 years. It's been not profitable for 20 years. This is a contract that was renegotiated before the expiration of the original contract and outside of public meetings. So I have a huge concern about that, and I have a concern about the TCA that says that operations of a public building authority and its contract and the revenues it charges should be self-supporting. It should not be something we have to subsidize, particularly when it's competing with other restaurants that offer similar things like catering. I don't think that's a fair thing to do. So if I'm going to propose something, it would be that we wouldn't have a contribution, because I don't think this has been a successful experiment, and I think it's always going to be a hard time to draw a line. But for me, I don't feel good about throwing more money down this black hole, and there are several other things in the city I think are deserving. So that would be my amendment. But I would propose the contribution would be zero.
Do we have a motion, an amendment to have we
wouldn't have a contribution for the next fiscal year.
do I hear a second on this?
I'll second.
It's been moved and second, we will take this amendment and that we would remove the $500,000 for the conference center out of the budget. The budget will be as stated. Any comments from the board? It's been moved and seconded. The amendment to remove that one line item out of the.
Alderman French.
I declare in direct interest. My vote is no.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Parsley.
Yes.
We have a tie vote, 3 votes yes, 3 votes no.
I don't know not to completely remove that line item from the budget. It's set at 500. I would put that line item back in at 400.
But you guys have a little bit,
But somebody, when I say no, I'm saying no.
vote on the budget now? No other amendments.
Okay, if there's no other amendments, we're gonna go to the original amendment.
Wait. I'll make that amendment.
Do I hear a second on 400,000? Let's vote on the budget. Okay, the budget is in your packet. And if there's a motion, there's a second to vote on the budget. Any comments? If not, I'll vote.
Alderman French. Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy.
No.
Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. We have a tie vote, 3 votes no, 3 votes yes.
I don't think it should be 500,000.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Y'all say aye.
Okay. Right now, do we need to do another special call meeting to have the, look at what budget again? Is that here, Roger?
We have to have a budget, folks, in very soon.
Can I just do the record board meeting?
The statute requires actually 2 months before you get in your fiscal year. And if you don't get it in before 30 days, you're not going to get it back before the fiscal year begins. Municipalities will then continue on last year, continuing resolution until you get it back.
Have a day reserved for next Wednesday at 5:30.
Next Wednesday, 5:30. Do I have a motion to have a special call meeting?
Is that 17th?
It is.
What time you gonna have the meeting?
Okay, next Wednesday, we have it down as,
So I'll make the motion, let's have a special call board meeting next Wednesday, 5:30, for the second vote on the budget, and nothing else. Well, whatever.
I'll second.
okay, to have a special call meeting to vote on the budget. We have a motion and a second. Any comments for the board?
What, this is to have the meeting 17th on just the budget, correct? What time are you setting the meeting for?
5:30.
Peter, but it's skin of my teeth.
Alderman French.
No.
Alderman Anderson.
Is this for the special call meeting?
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
Okay, I would advise this board that we not try to negotiate among ourselves. I will say that as mayor, I know the merit of the conference center. I know that it serves this public, and if I was a tiebreaker, that there is a merit. There's a merit when we have these big banquets. There's a merit that we serve the the whole county, we have these big events. I just constantly hear that maybe some adjustments to the budget as far as the salaries, that we need to look at, that this is, I would like to compensate, I don't want to say, but I would like to see that there is a PPA, and the PPA runs it, and I respect everybody on the PPA. But when I am sent a letter that if and it's up to me to make mayoral appointments, that I can't ask what each individual person's salary is. And I did send a request that there is a tie. There is a tie to the city, to the PPA, if I make mayoral appointments. And I don't want people to stroke my ego, but I have asked people from the county and the city, and there is merit that besides hotel, motel, that when there's banquets that's held, that there is merit, that when AEDC has people come in after hours, we have people from Washington, D.C., there is merit. But I don't think we're going to have an impasse of one side or the other until we come up with numbers and that's the reason I said no. But with that, I would ask for a meeting to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Ryan made that all.
Okay,
I will ask for the point. I mean, we can't convene between now and next Wednesday. And the reason I voted no is you say not to negotiate this outside, which would not be legal at this point. So are we just going to keep doing this I mean, what's the difference in next Wednesday and this Wednesday? I don't understand. I mean, this is it.
I agree.
I may have dozed off here. I don't normally try to do that, but now this call meeting for next Wednesday, is that a called work session to us to negotiate this budget, or is it just to vote on it? If it's just to vote on it, I agree with Ryan.
Sitting around the same campfire next week.
You know, we need some time to sit down in a work session and try to get this thing worked out. Just having another vote and come up with the same vote every time is useless. I agree with Ryan that if we're gonna vote next Wednesday,
Will a work session make a difference with sitting down? Will that make a difference?
would it make a difference? Well, you've got a way of sitting down here and us talking about it, rather than being in a meeting tied to a called agenda where we got one chain and one thing only, and that's a vote.
We didn't adjourn, we're not.
We did not have a second.
We didn't have a second to adjourn.
So I make a motion that we send this thing back to the Budget and Finance Committee. And let's work it out there, and then bring it back for the board, for another vote. That's where it needs to come from, anyway.
I don't really see this one changing. Well, it's kind of like a work session, right? I mean, that's where you're supposed to be trying to work it all out.
You're right
I
about
mean,
that.
that's what it should happen.
But everybody participates in it, so.
That's fine, everybody can come if you want to, but we'll call it the Budget and Finance Committee, because this budget needs to come up through the process of the Budget and Finance Committee to the board.
Can you advertise it in the paper for take it for finance, and PBA comes before finance, and we look at these numbers again? We can do that. When would that finance meeting be?
How about next Wednesday?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have time to advertise.
All right.
What we're running into the second reading that was scheduled for June the 6th.
Well, I mean, that's a product of the circumstances. We're not going to pass a budget. We're going to debate it over this 1%. It'll either fail or it won't. based on this. I mean, my point being, if we have a special call meeting next week, we're not gonna be in progression past this. We're just gonna have another opportunity to make a motion of, I don't know what number or why, or, no math or science behind that, we're just gonna do that. So I don't see any other way that it has to go back to the finance. Or work session or whatever. And then again, I don't know why it goes back to there, because we're not gonna, there just needs to be a good faith discussion based on facts, I suppose, wherever it goes. Finance committee,
That could be done in finance.
mayor's office, wherever.
And, I have stated but is there anybody that could state that they would move on, they're not moved based on numbers? We can take that to finance.
It's got to go somewhere, we've got to talk about it somewhere. We're not going to pass it like this. So let's take it back to budget and finance, and everybody show up that wants to show up. And we'll see if we can amend the budget and make one more person happy. And then come back for the board. That's the best idea I've got.
Take from budget and finance Wednesday, a meeting with budget and finance. We've got 3 people that's on finance sitting here, and the PBA can bring their numbers.
Anybody can show up that wants to, as long as the chairman recognizes when they can speak. So, I'd say the Aldermen,
And, is there money that the county says they will bring to the table? Is that there? I think that we need to talk about that. It's going to supplement. It's an age, it's an old building, but it needs to be out in public.
So I'm going to participate in the budget finance meeting. I respect what we'll cover. I do want to point out the irony that in the very last regular call to order mayor Alderman meeting, we sat here and had a discussion about capital outlay and staying out ahead of improvements that we know are eventually going to happen, and how it's not fair to hold people like the rec department accountable for those capital outlay projects we might set aside. The numbers that were hung up on, that was going back to the finance, are literally those numbers, the capital outlay numbers. And so the difference in the 400,000 motion tonight, your comment about 400,000, the difference in that, what the request is the capital outlay that we sit here and criticize years and years and years of work of mayor and aldermen over not setting. And so the one department that actually brings that into the budget, this is where we're at. I just don't, just keep that in mind when it does come
But
back.
it's not a department. It is a contribution to the PBA, and
My point remains on the capital.
I got a question.
we're adjourned, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So my question is if it's a contribution, so why are we digging into salaries and stuff? What's the point of that, right? Either you give a contribution or you don't, or are you going to direct how they use it going forward?
If it's 500, if it's school, if it's contribution, it's contribution.
Do any of the aldermen
You not get people's salaries and information that you want, and my question is, what do you do with that?
And it's like 500,000, looking at the numbers. It's not the same as we donated that money to senior citizens. Because we are tied to, it's not an appointment, we haven't taken over the running of the conference center. There is more weight on City Manchester.
So, do we understand the revenue aspect of the hotel motel tax? Or room occupancy tax? What that means? It means that nobody in Coffee County hopefully stays in a hotel, and it's people who come here that spend that money, right?
Right.
So if you dig into the lines, you know, this year in the budget, there's $943,000 projected to come from room occupancy tax. 58% goes to general fund, 28%, there's some points in there, goes to recreation, and right at 14% goes to tourism. So it still leaves $550,000 going to the general fund that could fund something we know brings revenue in, but we can't touch it and see it other than that, with no taxpayer paying for any of it. And we're going to fight about it in here.
I just feel that we need more fine tuning of it, and I know I'm heavy, and it will always be on my record that I sit voting no, but I just, you know, if the numbers are there, my problem is and I like working with the county, that we do a world of good throughout the county as well, but I'm not hearing that it is merited us keeping it at 500,000. But anyway, that's just my comment. We bring it before finance.
Based on what? And based on what? That's my ask. There's all this data out there, and I don't want to get into it one way or the other. I just think the decision needs to be based on something.
Okay.
I mean, a feeling or what is being said in the community, what does that mean? There has to be some kind of fact pattern that we follow. That's all I'm asking. All I've ever asked when we have debate is that we have objective debate and debate on real stuff and not fake stuff or made up stuff.
And I do have a problem with we are catering and we're running competition with people out there trying to make a living.
So that's a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. So you task them to either make money or break even, but you don't want them to do anything but what you tell them. So how do they get there? So you chastise them for going out and trying to do better, right? So that the numbers look better, but yet we don't like it that they're competing with other people, but we tell them, hey guys, at the end of the day, you don't have enough events and we don't give you all the money. So it can't be both ways. We're not in the business of running a conference center. That is not the city's business. It's a PBA business, right? We're in the business of giving them a contribution or not, but I'm like, Ryan, it has to be based on something.
Mayor, I want to explain my vote for about that long. I am not anti-conference center. I think it's a good thing. I think it's great. I think it could do better. I think it could do with more options, which I'm not going to go into at this point in time because you really did it. But the reason I voted the way I did is I want the conference center to do good. And I think the taxpayers of Manchester has footed the bill long enough. These taxpayers that go to Walmart and buy groceries and can't do it, and everything in the world is going up. Of course, conferences cost to go up too, I understand. But these mom and pops and grandmas and grandpas, we have beat them to death for 27 years. It's time to get it funded some other way. At least PBA runs it. Let's lease it to the PBA and give them a heck of a bargain in it. But the reason I voted for it is I want to see the taxpayers freed up and paid enough.
So Bob, you're sitting there saying you'd like to see the conference center succeed. Yeah, you're ready to close it because we don't fund it.
So if you're worried about Mr. and Mrs. Average Joe out there and you want to not cost him money, conference center keeps their taxes about $300 a year lower than they would be if they weren't there. So figure that in.
That's an example of a fact that we can have a debate on. That is a fact. That is what I want to hear more of. And it goes both ways. There's other facts too.
But
I've never once, I just want to make it clear, I've never one time sat up here and said, I want this thing to stay open because my wife works there. I have spilled number after number after number, impact after impact after impact, like all data. Bob, I respect to think that you think you can do better. Well, tell them how. I wouldn't dare tell Chief Sop how he can run a better police department. I'm not qualified. I wouldn't dare tell Chief Chambers how to run a better fire department. I'm not qualified. I'm not a fire chief. I'm not a police chief. And I'm certainly not running a conference center. So all of this conversation that keeps going back and forth, if you think it can be better, tell them how. Because last week, the argument was, well, we can just let somebody else run it, and they'll run it, and it'll have the same impact. Except somebody's not going to come in and run it in a community of our size and put that type of investment into it. That's the benefit. That's why there's an operational investment from the communities, because towns of our size don't have conference centers. They also don't have the $5 to $8 million a year in indirect economic impact that it creates too. That is shown up in that number that Mark just referenced. And that's all I'm saying is, I respect the way you feel, I respect the way you think, but if you're going to vote on something, especially something that's going to impact our entire tax base, I think that's something that people are not understanding here. This is going to affect our entire tax base. If it's not there, there will be a significant drop in lodging taxes in our community. That will be a gap in our budget next year. There will be a significant, we were talking about revenues last week. Has anybody looked at real property, the new real property in Coffee County? Manchester has 4.7% new real property in the last year. Equate that into sales taxes. Equate that, and I mean, we can look at property taxes and kind of guess what that ends up being, but equate that, so we have no idea what the impact is. So only thing I'm asking is let's not have an anecdotal arguments. Let's base this on facts. If you fundamentally just don't believe that this is an investment that we should do as a government, or any government should do that, I respect that opinion. Disagree with it, but I respect it. A lot of people don't think the states should be running golf courses, or should be running lakes, or state parks. A lot of people have come into this room right here and asked to shut our conference center down. But at some point, we have to make a decision on the dollars that we're investing. Is it paying off in impact? And how is it paying off in impact? Is that indirect economic impact? Is it direct economic impact? Or is it quality of life? Let me tell you how much revenue these sidewalks are generating today. But we're still investing in them. Why are we investing in them? Because of quality of life. We've determined that quality of life is worth $2 million to invest in sidewalks on Oak Drive and Hills Chapel Road. People not get hit by a car, it's worth it. All it is an equation. And I apologize to this is not an emotional debate. It just needs to be fundamentally on the facts. That's all I'm asking for anybody.
And to have the numbers, if the county kicks in to fix the roof, we have a building that's run down. We've got air conditioners will not run. That we are carrying it as the conference center, the city of Manchester, and I just want to look at what else people brings to the table, and somebody else. I'm not ready to say $500,000 this night. I was not ready to say $500 this night for the conference center. And someone else that looking at the numbers, if somebody else wants to look at those numbers by the next budget and finance meeting, and I do honor each PBA member. You are volunteers. And I want to look at these numbers hard. I had one member say, maybe we do look harder at the numbers. But I would like to take another look, and it is We have a motion, we're moving to budget and finance. We have a motion and a second for budget.
We can't do that. We're just gonna have to call a special call budget finance meeting. We can't make a motion on that.
Okay, y'all expect. The chairman of budget finance, are you willing to call a special call for finance, budget finance meeting?
Are you asking for big BOMA, special call BOMA after that? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking for clarification.
It's on the schedule for the regular meeting. After that, anyway. Yeah.
That's our regular meeting. I was asking what happened to the motion to set a special call meeting next Wednesday.
Again, I don't think we can make a motion.
Withdraw that meeting, that.
Yeah, I don't think we can make a motion.
So we're having a budget and finance meeting next Wednesday.
I'll take it.
And then we'll take it to the regular BOMA meeting.
Good luck.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
I believe my motion to adjourn failed for lack of second.